everybody. This is Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert, a NASCAR podcast. What a wonderful fall time out in Martinsville. Splash of Gas was out there in Southern Virginia throughout the weekend, keeping you up to date on all the coverage. Bits of our live coverage throughout the episode. Been to cutoff races before, thought the atmosphere would be similar. In the pits, seeing the playoff eligible drivers in each series, they were so locked in and focused. You could practically cut the intensity with a knife. Storylines for the weekend, starting with trucks. After the hot hand Corey Heim locked himself in nearly a month ago with the win at the Roval, the drivers from second to sixth in the standings are separated by only 20 points. And the two drivers in must-win scenarios are veterans Daniel Hemric and Grant Enfinger, who will punch their ticket to Phoenix. Xfinity, with none of the championship drivers winning in the first two races of the round of 8, the top three drivers of Zilisch, Allgaier, and Love have each built up a healthy point lead going into Martinsville. Who will get the final spot? The one everyone has been waiting for, the Cup Series. As the two Joe Gibbs racing drivers of Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe have won the first two races in the round of 8, there is 2 spots left in the Cup Champ 4 remaining. With Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson each having 37 and 36 points, will a winner knock one of them out? Again, we'll have 2 episodes this week. On this one, we'll unfold all the action from Martinsville. The second episode, we will have all of our playoff thoughts and predictions for Phoenix. Yellow flag, green flag, discussions with Dave, garage chats from Martinsville with Mason Maggio and Carson Hocevar, paint scheme of the week, and so much more on this episode of Splash of Gas. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He'll be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at disneydavew@verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and, of course, on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Dave Weichert here, come from you live from Martinsville Speedway. Made the drive out here for the playoffs. Trucks just had their qualifying. Lane Riggs will be on the pole, followed by Gio Ruggiero. All those playoff drivers were qualifying all in the top spots. They were really going for it. I was standing right in the entrance of turn 3 for the qualifying. When they were coming to pit road, you could see that the splitter was hitting the pavement just from how trimmed out they are. So, truck drivers are really going to go for it tonight with spots for the Championship 4 on the line. We'll keep you updated from the pits. With this being my first time ever being at Martinsville, had to have one of the Martinsville hot dogs. I tried it. I actually had 2 of them. A little bit different, a little tangy. The hot dog is, in all honesty, completely neon green, but it wasn't half bad. Probably go for another one later during the race. Briefly chatted with Ty Majeski, then with Grant Enfinger, 2 playoff drivers. Grant was pacing the pit road. Really crazy how focused these playoff drivers are on this race alone, trying to get into the Final 4 for Phoenix. I mean, you expect that, but seeing it pre-race in person is very neat. Now for the recap from Martinsville for the Truck Series. Trucks would be the first to hit the track this past weekend. So much on the line for the playoff drivers of Carruth, Ankrum, Honeycutt, Majeski, Riggs, Enfinger, and Hemric that are all vying for the 3 remaining playoff spots. After qualifying, as mentioned, Lane Riggs would be on the pole, followed by Talladega winner, non-playoff eligible driver Gio Ruggiero. 3 yellows will fly in the first stage. The restart after the second yellow would see Lane Riggs miss a shift, and Ty Majeski and Corey Heim would be first and second. The same would be on the front row on the final restart of the first stage. The always strong Heim would clear Maggio for the lead and win Stage 1. The missed shift by Riggs would greatly hurt his track position, but the first playoff driver to be out on Friday would be the 71 of Raja Caruth. Caruth was coming into Martinsville second in points. The incident would occur on lap 73 after Raja unfortunately had a tire go down. Tough break for the young driver. Exceeded my expectations this playoffs. They would restart with 19 laps to go in the second stage. Again, Heim would outwork Maggio on the restart onto the win for Stage 2. Most of the playoff drivers pit during the stage break. Brent Cruz and Gio Ruggiero would restart for the third and final stage. After a slew of 4 cautions, playoff drivers of Corey Heim and Caden Honeycutt would restart with 8 laps to go. The energy in the grandstands for a truck race was awesome, with all on our feet. With 5 laps to go, the yellow would fly once again, this time for a Connor Jones spin that collected 3 others. This will put the race into overtime. Heim and Honeycutt again start up front. Playoff points are about to get paid out, and would anyone catch Corey Heim? No, they wouldn't, and Heim stands strong, winning in Martinsville. After Raja Caruth's early exit, of course, Heim with the win, the remaining playoff drivers finish. Honeycutt second, Riggs third, Majeski seventh, Ankrum ninth, Enfinger 12th, and Hemric 31st. Based on the points collected in the 3 stages, Corey Heim, already locked in from the win at the Roval, Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, and in the final spot, Caden Honeycutt all locked themselves into the Championship 4 in Phoenix, meaning Lane Riggs, Daniel Hemric, Grant Enfinger, and Raja Caruth are all eliminated from championship contention. Tough one to swallow for Riggs, as he finished tied with Honeycutt in points, but Caden had the upper hand as he held a tiebreaker between the two. In the grandstands post-race Friday, leaving, I was shocked that Riggs did not make the transfer to the Championship 4. More on that on Discussions with Dave. Now for trivia question time. This episode's question is, Phoenix Raceway hosted the first NASCAR Championship weekend in 2020. What driver won the Cup Championship that Sunday in 2020? Answer at the end.
Splash of gas back here in Martinsville for the Saturday. Xfinity just had their practice. Big news that Connor Zilisch went spinning. You can see his team grabbing the backup nose to make repairs to that. Qualifying for the Xfinity Series is about to happen in a couple minutes. See how that goes. We'll keep you updated. Dave Weicker here, and here at Martinsville, here with Mason Maggio. We just did the practice qualifying. How are you feeling? Did you learn anything about the car?
Yeah, I mean, we struggled pretty bad in practice, in all honesty. We just weren't really good, to be quite honest with you. And thankfully, we took a big swing at it for qualifying and picked up a little bit more. I think I left a little bit on the table, so drivers are a little bit frustrated with themselves, but still picked up a lot compared to where we were in practice. So proud of our Joey Gase Motorsports guys for picking it up and getting ourselves situated. We'll see if we can pick up a little bit more here in the race here at Martinsville, which is usually pretty chaotic. So if you can keep all the fenders on it in the race and stay on the lead lap in our spot, then usually that it ends up being a pretty good day. So we'll keep digging at it and hopefully continue to move on up.
Any goals for today?
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, I like to think this is one of our opportunity races. A lot of carnage, a lot of chaos, guys having parts failures and so forth. So if we can come away with a top 25 day, that'd be a really good day. If we can come home with a top 20, might as well get the champagne out for our team, and we'll have our own celebration. But no, I mean, if we can have a top 25 day, I think that'll be really big for for our Joey Gase Motorsports guys as we go into the second to last race of the year.
Awesome. Appreciate the honesty. I know it was a couple months ago. You had your career best finish at Daytona. You're a Florida guy. It seemed like a pretty special moment for you and your family down there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we played our cards right. We stayed out of the carnage and came away with a great day in 15th. And that's the best run that the 35 car has had all year long, and as far as on that side of the fence in Joey's stable. So it was really good for us, especially with minimal damage with that last lap wreck. It meant a lot for sure. Daytona is really special with me being a Florida kid, it being 2 hours north of me. So, always cool to be able to run at Daytona. And we've been pretty decent at the plate tracks this year, and that's a really good opportunity for the smaller teams such as Joey's team. So glad we were able to come away with a great finish there, and getting to have a lot of family, a lot of friends, and a lot of hometown partners there with us as well is even more special.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Best of luck today, all right?
Thank you.
Appreciate Mason's time. Had him on the show earlier this year. Great to talk to a driver that was going to be racing Saturday night. Now for the Xfinity recap from Martinsville. Xfinity Series would keep the energy flowing on Saturday out at the Martinsville paperclip, with Zilisch, Allgaier, and Love each having a sizable point lead coming into the race. Carson is holding on to the fourth and final spot by 11 points. Or would any of the drivers below the cut line of Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones, Sam Mayer, or Sheldon Creed be able to get their way in? After qualifying, Harrison Burton would be on the pole, followed by Carson Kvapil. Burton would lead early, but eventually be passed for the lead by Aric Almirola. 2 yellows would fly in the first stage on lap 32 and 46. Many would pit under the first yellow. On the second restart, Butterbean Queen and Sam Mayer would be on the front row, with Justin Allgaier ready to strike from third. Allgaier would work his way past both of them and secure the Stage 1 win. Allgaier and Brandon Jones restart for the second stage. Only yellow of the stage would fly 19 laps in for spinning Jeb Burton. Many would pit under this yellow. Carson Kvapil and Queen stay out and restart up front. Kvapil gets the jump and stays strong, collecting the Stage 2 win. Sam Mayer and Taylor Gray restart for the third and final stage. By lap 162, Aric Almirola would get past Mayer for the lead. Taylor Gray would be battling Almirola hard for the front spot, but wasn't successful. Several yellows would fly throughout the stage. The one on lap 226 would see Ryan Sieg make contact with the one of Kvapil, which at the moment would put Kvapil below the cutoff line. Who would get the final spot? With 7 laps to go, Carson Kvapil worked his way up to the 20th position, putting him 2 points ahead of Brandon Jones. 4 laps later, Daniel Dye hits the wall, bringing out the last yellow of the night, putting the race into overtime. Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith restart up front, with Brandon Jones in the third position. Would Smith or Jones be able to overtake Gray for the final transfer spot and knock out Kvapil? No, they wouldn't. Taylor Gray will go on to be victorious, earning his first Xfinity win. With Gray being eliminated in the round of 12, Carson Kvapil gets the final spot. The Xfinity Championship 4 is cemented. Justin Allgaier, Connor Zilisch, Jesse Love, and Carson Kvapil. That means Brandon Jones, Sheldon Creed, Sam Mayer, and Sammy Smith are all eliminated. Post-race fireworks, a familiar sight at Martinsville. Sam Mayer and Jeb Burton were butting heads and bumpers throughout the race. Once the checkered flag flew, Mayer would right hook Burton into the wall on the cool-down lap. More on that on Discussions with Dave. Was able to chat with Carson Hocevar briefly before he had his practice and qualifying session on Saturday. Here's what the driver of the 77 Spire Motorsports car on the NASCAR Cup Series had to say.
Dave, David White here at Carson Hocevar, about to do the practice and qualifying here at Martinsville, second to last race of the season. How you feeling, man?
I feel good.
Good. Any goals coming in today?
Hopefully we can qualify, up front. It's hard to pass here. Track position's important, so being up front's going to matter here.
Gotcha. Going to be a long 500 laps tomorrow. A lot of people call this, kind of a getting in a groove during here at Martinsville. Any truth to that?
Yeah, it matters. Rhythm is important here. Being able to, just ultimately, just be able to start clicking them off and not really have to think about it.
Awesome. Best of luck. Thanks so much. Here you go. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Carson.
Now for the Cup Series recap. The one everyone came out to see, the Cup Series race in Martinsville, the second to last race of the season. With Hamlin and Briscoe already locked in with their wins previously in the round, 2 spots remain. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Joey Logano, and Chase Elliott would all be vying for the final 2 spots. After qualifying, William Byron would be on the pole, followed by Ty Gibbs. Once the race went green, Byron would get the jump. 1 yellow would fly early. Willie B would stay strong and win Stage 1, with Logano and Kyle Larson in pursuit. Byron and Logano restart for Stage 2. William will get the lead again and start to put a gap in between him and Joey. Byron would navigate 3 yellows in the middle stage and go on to win Stage 2. Now, all would be on the line for the third and final stage. Tyler Reddick and Ryan Blaney restart. Blaney would lead. Good thing they were already locked in, as Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin retire early, each with engine issues. Blaney pits from the lead on lap 377. After 2 yellows, Blaney and Byron restart on the front row with 95 laps to go. Blaney gets the jump and leads, but that wasn't the last we would hear from Byron. With 45 laps to go, he would get to the back of Blaney. 2 laps later, Byron dives down on Blaney. The two make slight contact, and Byron charges to the lead. After Hocevar would have a spin, the field would restart with 10 laps to go. Byron and Blaney on the front row. Byron would power through the restart and hold off Ryan Blaney. Willie B walks it off in Martinsville and locks himself into the championship 4. Kyle Larson also gets in based off points, meaning Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, and Joey Logano all get eliminated from championship contention. Quick look back at the predictions we made for Martinsville. Trucks went with Lane Riggs. He finished 3rd, but unfortunately misses the Champ 4. Xfinity tapped Sheldon Creed. Not the win he needed, but a strong outing. Season finish 4th. Cup, he makes it into the championship 4 on points. Kyle Larson finishes in the 5th position. Now for yellow flag, green flag. Yellow flag, trucks. I know he finished 3rd, but I was shocked in the grandstands when Lane Riggs did not make the transfer into the championship 4. I thought he was the second best truck all season to Corey Heim. A few breaks go the other way, and Riggs doesn't make it. Green flags, trucks, Caden Honeycutt. This guy switched teams and manufacturers mid-season. Heck, he drove through 3 different truck teams this year alone. Fights through that adversity and gets into the Champ 4. Way to go, Caden. Yellow flag, Xfinity. Love the energy and passion that Sam Mayer has for racing, but we saw that get the worst of him on Saturday, and he let his emotions take over. More on this on Discussions with Dave. Green flag, Xfinity. Taylor Gray and Ty Gibbs. Taylor Gray gets his first win, and Ty Gibbs, who is technically listed as the owner for the Joe Gibbs 54 Xfinity car, gets his first win as an owner. Congratulations to that team. Yellow flag, Cup. Joe Gibbs' 2 championship drivers of Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe. You might say, what? Even though they didn't have anything on the line at Martinsville, Denny and Chase both had to retire early with engine issues. truly think this affects their momentum going into Phoenix. Green Flag Cup, William Byron, but also Ryan Blaney. I know Blaney was short of winning and then making the championship 4, but the racing we saw between Blaney and Byron was top of the line. So exciting. Hope we see similar racing in Phoenix this upcoming weekend. Now for discussions with Dave, starting with my Martinsville experience, and yes, the hot dogs. Drove out to Martinsville. It was my first time ever going to the paperclip in Southern Virginia. Driving through the Shenandoah Mountains was truly beautiful and breathtaking, and it got even better once I got to the track, set up the tent, met some great people I was camping next to all weekend, became friends with them, watching the races with them in the grandstands. I'm sorry I didn't remember everyone's name, but shout out to Mike Jones and my guy Terry. You made the weekend awesome. And yes, I tried the Martinsville hot dog. Had 2 on Friday when I first got there. Was a little bit cautious in all honesty. Got mixed reviews from some of my friends that have been there before. Some said try it. Some warned me not to try it. After feeling fine having 2, had more on Saturday, and my hot dog count got up to 7 hot dogs on Saturday, 9 total for the weekend. Stomach felt fine the whole time. It's a little bit, it's completely different, a little bit tangy. It's this neon pink Jesse Jones hot dog. Jesse Jones is the guy that makes the hot dogs. I don't know anything more on him than he makes pink hot dogs. It's a pink hot dog with chili, coleslaw, onions, and mustard. Different to say the least, but when you can get a bag of 4 for $6, heck, they were pretty good. Kept me going throughout the weekend. Next topic, Byron versus Blaney. Just mentioned how exciting that battle was. We've seen how good Ryan Blaney can be at the second to last race of the season in Martinsville in years past. And of course, there was no hiding that Byron's car was a rocket ship too. Wins the pole, then sweeps stage 1 and stage 2. When Blaney took the lead with 95 laps to go, starting to think that maybe Byron used up his car. That was not the case. Byron would have enough to get to Blaney, and then at that point, Blaney's car was a little bit too used up, and he couldn't fight off Byron as much as he needed to. Also happy we did not see any race manipulation that we saw last year in Martinsville. Nothing egregious, but just great racing between Byron and Blaney. World class right there. Moving right along, the topic everyone's been talking about on the Xfinity side of things this week, Sam Mayer versus Jeb Burton. We saw post-race Sam Mayer right hook Jeb Burton on the cool down lap, and Jeb goes into the outside wall. Glad Jeb was okay. They were going, slow at that point, right? Once the checkered flag waved, Mayer's chances at advancing to the Champ 4 were taken away. He was eliminated. I understand that he's frustrated. In the post-race interview, he thought that Jeb put him in a bad spot with Jeb triggering one of the wrecks at Talladega, which caught Mayer up in, putting him in the playoff hole that he came into Martinsville with, and he's not able to get out of it. The two were trading paint and bumpers a couple times throughout the race, and it escalated a little bit in stage 3 for sure. Jeb finishes 6th, Mayer in 7th, and Mayer really doubled down on multiple post-race interviews. He felt like because he was a playoff driver in the round of 8, that Burton should have raced him easier and given him that spot. Jeb has sponsors. Jeb's from Virginia. He's trying to win a grandfather clock, thinking that just because you have a purple spoiler that someone's going to let you go by. Mayer's been in the sport for number of years and he's won races. He has such a high energy guy. We saw that when I interviewed him about a month ago, how focused and locked in and how much he truly does want it. Mayer goes on to say that Jeb Burton doesn't have the it factor, he has the shit factor. As a fan and someone that covers the sport, great content for us to break down and to continue to talk about. But if you're one of the owners, Haas Factory, Jordan Anderson, who was on the wrong side with some banged up equipment after they get hooked post-race, you're probably not too pleased with what Mayer had to say. NASCAR goes on to suspend Mayer for Phoenix. Only makes sense. You can't do that. You can't right hook someone in a race, and it's not a place in the sport. Mayer learned his lesson. Also announced that Ryan Sieg will fill in for Mayer and drive the 41 Haas Factory Ford at Phoenix. Ryan's brother Kyle will drive his 39 entry. To be determined who will then drive Kyle Sieg's typical ride of the 28. Great opportunity for a veteran driver like Ryan to get a chance in a top Xfinity car. Next topic on discussions with Dave, Taylor Gray Martinsville redemption from last year in the trucks. The truck race, Fall Martinsville 2024, saw some fireworks as Martinsville sometimes does. Taylor Gray in the Tricon truck, doing well, leading. Christian Eckes in the McAnally Hilgeman truck, gives him the bumper, takes Gray out. Gray does not get into the championship for Christian Eckes does. When that happened last year, Gray had a win taken away from him. That's how good his truck was and how well he was driving that night. I said Taylor Gray, 2025 truck champ. Obviously, Taylor raced full-time Xfinity then with Joe Gibbs. Didn't know it at that point. But this win for Taylor Gray, his first win in the Xfinity level, is more than a year in the making. He's truly grinded and put it all on the line on Saturday night for the grandfather clock. Well deserved for Taylor. Wanted to touch upon that. Final two topics are back on the Truck Series side of things. Raja Caruth's good playoff run comes to an end, but still, he has a bright future ahead and a good springboard from him for Xfinity. Well, next year will be the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. As we've been mentioning in past episodes, Raja Caruth will drive part-time for Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series. Coming into this year's truck playoffs, I was not hot on Raja. His numbers and finishes since his win in Nashville earlier in the season just weren't too hot. But he turned it up and proved me wrong in the playoffs. He really had a great chance at making the Champ 4. Fortunately, he's a tire go down, nothing that he could have prevented, and it ends his day. But wanted to touch upon the run he had in this playoffs. Last topic on discussions with Dave for this episode, Honeycutt knocking out Lane Riggs. I told you in the grandstands I was shocked. In all the different predictions and models I went on through my head, I just did not see Lane Riggs getting eliminated. Those front row motorsports trucks have been competitive, top 5, top 3 trucks, practically every race. I was shocked where Chandler Smith's playoff run ended where it did, not getting out of the round of 10. And we did touch upon this in yellow flag, green flag. Caden Honeycutt has gone through some adversity this year on the Truck Series. Last December, he wins the Snowball Derby, the biggest late model race of the year. Number of NASCAR Cup guys in that race. Caden's having a good start of the year, strong with Nice Motorsports. When Honeycutt tells them, hey, next season, I'm not coming back here, they got rid of him. And they released him. He had to run the next race with Young's Motorsports at Watkins Glen to stay championship eligible. As we know, Caden would take over the 52, typically driven by Stuart Friesen. He would mesh well with that team, and now they have a chance to run for a championship in Phoenix. And that wraps up Discussions with Dave. Now, NASCAR history time. Last races of the season throughout NASCAR's past. Back in 1968, Jeffco Speedway served as the host of NASCAR's finale. The half-mile asphalt track, located in Jefferson, Georgia, has gone by a few different names over the years: Peach State Speedway, Georgia International Speedway, and most recently, Gresham Motorsports Park. The facility only hosted 2 Premier Cup Series races after they opened in '67. Cal Yarborough took the checkered flag in the '68 finale, while Bobby Isaac followed that up with a win the next year. Fast forward to the 2010s, the track has hosted 3 K&M Pro Series East events between 2010 and 2012, where current Cup regulars Ty Dillon, Kyle Larson picked up victories. And fun fact, part of the 1982 Kenny Rogers movie, Six Pack, featured a young Diane Lane, was filmed right there at Jeffco Speedway. The more you know. Second track we'll look at, Jacksonville Speedway, Jacksonville, North Carolina. In 1964, Jacksonville Speedway, a half-mile dirt track along the North Carolina coast, played host to NASCAR's season finale. The track didn't have a long Cup history, just 2 Premier Series races in total, but both were won by legends. Buck Baker claimed the victory in the track's first ever event back in '57, and Ned Jarrett took the win in '64. The final race saw Jarrett dominate, leading 126 of 200 laps in Bonnie Long's number 11 Ford to close out a 15-win season. But despite that performance, it was Richard Petty who sealed the deal on his very first of 7 career championships. And that was this episode's edition of NASCAR History Time. As mentioned at the beginning of the episode, with so much coverage to break down from Martinsville and to look at for Phoenix, we are having 2 episodes this week, so getting to the end of this one, now for trivia answer time. This episode's question is, Phoenix Raceway hosted the first NASCAR championship weekend in 2020. What driver won the Cup championship that Sunday in 2020? Answer is Chase Elliott. Now for Paint Scheme of the Week, Part 1 for Phoenix. They had a very similar paint scheme at Martinsville. The number 3, Richard Childress, driven by Ty Dillon. Bass Pro Shop paint scheme in partner with Winchester has just an awesome fall nature paint scheme with 2 mallard ducks with their wings out and about to land. Just beautiful. As always, we're sponsored by Magical Travel with Dave, aka Disney Dave Weichert, my father. He'll be able to help you with all your Disney and Universal vacation needs. He can be reached at disneydavw@verizon.net. Please make sure you follow all the Splash of Gas social medias for midweek and on-track updates. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all Splash of Gas with Dave Weichert. Hope everyone has enjoyed this episode. Please stay tuned for our second episode of the week, where we will have all of our thoughts and predictions for each of the championship races from Phoenix. Till next time, Splash of Gas out.